Hey everyone, good evening. Okay, Monty, I was just getting ready to give you a shout out. We had another person participating in the program that was in the store at Fleet Feet today who said that she had watched the video and heard you talking about the cones that you placed. And so she and her daughter went out and placed cones. So there you go. The whole goal of this is not to get 100 people on a call at once, but for you all to share your information and ask questions, and then for people to be able to watch it at their convenience. So kudos, you guys are all influencers. Happy Sunday, everyone. So I'm just, really, there's no point for me to talk. You all are on screen, and I'll try to toggle around and focus on primarily the person speaking. So if you need to do anything in private, get off camera. Or mute yourself when necessary. But how did it go this week? Let's start there.
It was really fun. I will admit I'm not writing down anything, and I feel bad about that, like our laps, but I'm running with my friend April, and we're pretty good about like knowing what our paces are, and she is like right on. She's very consistent, and I've got a window. But I think because I've done the program a couple times before that I feel a little bit more confident knowing my abilities, and I'm just like, okay, here's my range. It's just good for me to change it up. I don't really have any like long-term training goals other than just kind of having fun. And April hasn't done speed work in a while, so it's just kind of working out good this way. So I don't know if that's bad that we're not writing anything down, but
no, as long as you're running, it's okay.
We're not skipping the stretching. Deb, I will tell you, you are in my head. Don't skip.
Good, I like being in your head, and I like being in Jason's head.
Yeah, and I said to April she would feel so bad if we skipped the stretching, and I promise I won't. So 2 weeks in.
Right, your word is good as golden.
I'm going to keep at it.
I know that you had mentioned it's a tough summer for training and running because there's nothing really specific to shoot at. You know, any road race that you had done in the past is not going to occur this summer, and there really isn't anything in the next 6-month window, hardly. And so I know it's been difficult for me as well. I've just tried to say I'm just going to be healthy, and if I don't feel like pushing myself today, that's okay, because
that will never happen.
I know it's pretty rare, but nonetheless, I'm trying to take a little bit more relaxed approach to just say, let's just stay healthy, and eventually we're going to get to do some little road races again. And if I can just stay healthy for this prolonged period, I'm bound to run a road race well. So it's hard.
So did any of you have any questions from your sessions this week on what worked or didn't work?
Yeah, I do.
Go for it.
All right, go for it.
There might be a little too much information here, but so I went up to our high school track, and I got halfway into the workout, and there are no bathroom facilities, so I had to go home. Unexpectedly, that's 3/4 of a mile, so too much information. So then, my thought was, well, okay, I'll go back in the evening, and I'll go through all the warm-up and the exercises again, and I'll finish it up. I'll do the last 3 200s, and then I didn't. And then I said, okay, I'll do it the next day, and I didn't. So here we are. So I only did half a workout. I did stretch afterwards, though. If I get in a situation like, should I just like scrap the rest of it, or say no, like the driven, it's like, no, you got to do the other 3. You got to turn it into another whole workout and go do the other 3. And
go ahead.
So the question is, should you complete the workout, or should you just do what you can do?
Okay, better next week.
I would say unless you can immediately come back to it, and by immediately mean, all right, you jog that 3/4 of a mile home, and then you come right back again, then maybe I would say, sure, go ahead. But that's also then it's pushed the workout to a longer mileage than what you might want. So I would say what you did, I would have just said, well, half of it is what I'm going to get today. Half is better than nothing. And so I'll just relax and take that half, and I'll come back again next week and do a workout then. So I wouldn't
stew over it. I would just make a decision and go.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it was initially all fired up. Yeah, I really want to do this, And then as the week went on, it's like motivation went down. It's like, I put in the excitement of going up and being all ready for it and doing half of it. So, okay, I'll do that.
Deb and John, do you feel like, I mean, is it that there's a risk of overdoing it and potentially injuring yourself? Is it just the mental aspect of needing to feel like you're starting over or completing something you started? Well,
usually I like completing something that you started, because I think that's always a good mode to be in, and it makes you feel good when you're finished.
And that's usually kind of my approach, is like, we're just going to do this. And I don't remember what came up once I was home that, like.
Well, once you had to go to the restroom, that threw the whole
it wasn't
whole other dimension in there.
Like somehow
what you had going on was that
the timing wasn't that I could just turn around and go back.
Yes.
I don't remember how my schedule was panning out that day, but so yeah, I kind of, Leah's question, I am interested in that, because they talk about speed workouts are harder. They're a little more of a push on your body.
But
so had I done it first thing the next morning, would that have been too much?
I think that you're kind of pressing it then, because now you've almost done 2 hard days in a row. And you'd be much better off if you were going to do it to say, not for myself now, I used to be able, when I was younger, I could do something on Monday and then it only took me a day to recover, and I could come back on Tuesday on Wednesday, and I could do a little workout again. But now as I've gotten older, now if I do a workout on Monday, I'm not thinking about doing another one until maybe Thursday or Friday. And in the summer here, it's pretty much dependent on weather. If Thursday looks like the better day to run something harder, I'll do it Thursday. But if it looks like, wow, Thursday is going to be 90 degrees with 70 dew point, then I think I might wait until Friday and hope for a better day. Yeah. So if you were going to do it again and start from scratch, I would have said, don't come back and do it the next day, and probably not the day after that either. Maybe skip 2 days. If you started it on Monday, come back and try and do it on Thursday, and give yourself time to recover, because you aren't in any big hurry,
and some of this is also just getting in the habit, right? And so you got your warm up into the track, you navigated your way through being on a track. For some of us, that just being on a track feels like such a major milestone to feel like either worthy of being on a track or
that's a good point. And
qualified to be on a track. Yeah. So to be able to get to the track and say, like, I did this and I survived and it was actually kind of fun, and I can come back here anytime and do it again. To me, that's a major milestone for the week also. So kudos for that.
And I think you shouldn't beat yourself up and just look at where you are and what you're doing, and then be proud of what you do, and not beat yourself up because you had some weird thing that happened to you. Or not a weird thing, but
extenuating circumstances.
Extenuating circumstances.
Unplanned. What other questions do you guys have?
I guess this is not really a question, but I kind of had, I told you that I was injured last week. The last time I did this, I kind of, not really a pull, it wasn't that bad. It just kind of strained, I guess, my IT band. And so that was last Tuesday. So on Thursday, so it's been a week and a couple of days, I went to the track, and I went with my daughter, who's 18 and actually a real track athlete. Okay. So she put me through her warm up, which was good, I think. And then she was running 60s while I was running 200s. And so when I would time her on her 60s, and then I would run a 200 while she's resting. And I got to the third one, and the first two, I think I went out too fast. And then the third one was, I felt my IT, it was tightening up. I could feel it. And then, so then I said, well, I'll do one more, but I kind of jogged it. And then I was like, okay, that's it. That's enough. So I felt good being out there. I felt good being at the track. And the fact that I could keep up with her in her warm up was pretty awesome. So
Yeah.
that was good. So anyway, so that's
Good decision to stop too.
yeah. I feel
And
really
if
good
they-
about it. I went for a 5K this morning and I felt fine. So yeah.
You know what might have happened to you too, in that when you ran the 200 and then you stood and did a timing. I suspect you might have stayed a little bit looser with your IT band if you would have had the opportunity to just either be walking around or
Sure.
jogging on it, just, a recovery type jog, just because it keeps your muscle temperature warmer, you're going through a little motion. And it's quite possible in that time period while you were timing, that it tightens up a little bit. And that may be why you also felt pretty good just running a 5K, because it was continuous. And so, that might have contributed, don't you think, Deb, as a possibility?
Yep, that can make a difference.
It was a really long break between 200s.
It was a long break?
Yeah, it was probably, well, by the time I'd talk to her and we'd set up for the next 60, and then I would do my 200, and it was then by the time, then she would have 4 to 5 minutes left on her break still. Because she was supposed to break for 7 to 8 minutes between 60s.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So I can see where that 4 to 5 minutes of basically standing around you can tighten up a little bit, even if the weather's warm.
Oh, and it was warm.
Yeah, I
9 o'clock in the morning, and it was warm.
Hot would be the word.
Yeah, but play around with that a little bit and see if you notice any differences.
Okay.
How long you're off.
Okay.
It'll be fun for you too, because, acknowledging or sort of recognizing that maybe you went a little bit too hard on the 200s. 200 feels like a lot more than 100, I personally think. And Jason, I assume you did the 400s, and Amy, I don't know what you did, but it was 400 last week, right? Or is that what's coming up?
No, it's coming up.
I'm already in next week because I sent the email out. So, but jumping from the 100s to the 200s, you're getting a feel for so now the goal for you, Monty, next week is keep the IT band loose, but also can I ease up a little bit on the throttle so that I can get through more of them without feeling totally gassed. I think that's so great, you guys. You're figuring out where your boundaries are and what you can tolerate. And it's so nice to have a workout buddy, but sometimes doing it on your own and just being able to listen to your body and what it can do. And then being able to feel good the day after the workout too. I mean, tight, sore muscles are one thing, but those sharp, achy pains, Ty, are another thing altogether. So kudos.
Who's your friend?
My friend? That's Tyson. That's my son.
Oh, Jason.
Jason.
Oh, this is Charlie.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you got your.
I have a friend too.
Oh, there. All right.
Aw. Mine's not here.
I thought both of those good questions, situations, I'm sure you were not unique among the 100 people, that would have that same thing happen to them. So those are all good. You guys have great questions.
Can I ask a question? Sit down.
No, you may not.
I have 2 questions. One of which I think is the flip side of that. If I'm finding at, say, the last couple of reps that I can go a little faster, like if my last couple of reps are my fastest
Jason,
reps,
is your
does that
microphone on?
mean-
Is your microphone on? And your computer?
Yeah, I can hear him.
I can
You're,
hear.
Just
okay,
my headphones,
I was getting
okay.
a little feedback. Okay, go ahead, sorry.
Oh, okay. So if I'm finding that my last couple of reps can be a little bit faster, does that mean I should push a little harder on the first few? If I'm finishing strong, is that good, or does that mean I've been like sandbagging the first half of this workout? My second question is actually related to Monty. I'm finding that when I do these sort of interval workouts rather than just a tempo run or something, I'm getting some calf soreness the next couple of days. And I'm wondering if you have recommendations like ice, heat, foam rolling, lacrosse ball, flossing. What do you recommend for sore calves? I think it's just running on my forefoot really pushes my calves in a way that other running doesn't.
Are you getting warmed up really? Are you doing a good job with your warm up? Okay, that's
yeah, definitely not skipping it. Yeah.
Well, no, but I just meant.
Yeah, I would say one of the things is with the sore calves, I would be careful don't overstretch that. You know, if you're doing a static calf stretch, just get to that point where you can feel that stretch just a little bit and then back off from that. So you really, when you're actually doing the static stretch, you don't really even feel it hardly in your calf. Because I think sometimes the tendency is with runners that I've had is they want to stretch it more, and you've already pulled those filaments apart a little bit, and now by stretching it, you're not allowing them to heal back up again. So that's a possibility. Otherwise, I think icing afterwards can be good. You know, that can be really good post-workout. 10 minutes, you know, a 10-minute ice, and let your calf warm up again before you stretch.
I also like the way that I think it's always important if you can finish the workout strong, and so the way that you're doing it, maybe starting a little bit easier up front and then gradually increasing your intensity. That's a really good way to do a workout.
And I think naturally, the last one, if you've controlled yourself in the first group, you'll naturally, you have that whole psychological advantage of, well, this is my last one. You know, I can do, and you naturally go a little bit faster if you have something in the tank. So
yeah, might as well leave it on the track.
I think if you end up not having anything left in the tank on the last one, that is really frustrating. And I think that, I don't think that helps you. I think you're better off always going from I don't want to say slow to fast, but picking up your pace. Because then you end the workout feeling really good about what you've done. Where if you hit the wall, so to speak, or you're limping home, that doesn't make you feel good.
Yeah, and it still goes to, it's really hard to judge what your pace, how to manage that pace, and there was a time period where I was doing that kind of 200 workout, 9 200s almost every single week, and even with that, it was, you know, it's not an easy thing to figure out and hit them every single time down the way. So I think you're fine. I wouldn't worry about it what if your last two are a little bit faster. Better that way than the other way.
That's what I was hoping you would say. Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah.
Plus, then you know you can still get home, right?
That's right.
Yeah, that helps too.
So for the week coming up, the email has already gone out. We've got for the beginner workout 200s again, and that was new to us. 200 or new to us beginner workout folks last week, so we're repeating that. And then we've got the advanced workout folks going to 400 meters. Is there anything, Deb and John, that you want to share for this week's workout, things to keep in mind as we start to kind of have either longer distances, or for the beginning group, we're doing something similar to last week?
I would concentrate on staying relaxed when we run. As we start to go faster or longer, sometimes that's hard to do. But if you can always tell yourself, you know, relax, smooth, and keep a good rhythm, those are all good things.
Right. Try not to, some cues can sometimes be, you know, watching your shoulders, making, you know, trying to relax in the shoulder. Try to be, you know, that the brook trout, you know, they say have that nice floppy cheek look. Try not to be, you know, the strain in your face, or when you get tired, the arms come up and the
chicken wings.
Yeah, you know, and then that's a very good point. And then secondly, for the, you know, the people that are doing the 400s, is to like Leah had said, there's a big difference from 100 to 200. There's also a big difference between 200 and 400. And my suggestion again would be, don't go too hard, even within the 400 itself. Don't go too fast in the first 200 of it and come limping home over the last 200. Try to control yourself early, because it'll catch up to you later on in that 400. So, like Deb was saying, be as relaxed as possible through the first half, so that you can, in essence, even split that 400. The first 200 and the last 200 are pretty close to the same time, within a second or two, if possible.
And again, for as we're progressing or doing this, these sets, Deb and John, do you guys recommend, so let's say I'm halfway through the workout and I'm starting to feel the effects, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get to the end. Would you recommend that I cut my intervals short, do 6 rather than 8 or 4 rather than 6? Or do you recommend slowing the pace down a little bit and trying to get through the complete set?
That's a tough one. I might say, like, let's say your intention was to do 6, and after the third one or so, you feel like, ooh, I might have a difficult time doing the next 3. Just take a little bit longer break in between the third and the fourth one, or between the fourth and the fifth one. Give yourself a little bit longer break and try to make it to your goal of 6.
Yeah, because you hate to give up your goals, and if it's only going to happen once, that's all right. But sometimes individuals get in the habit of every time if they do a workout, then there's 1 or 2 left at the end. And so I think we need to make sure that we don't allow that to happen. But sometimes if it's just a one-time thing, I think it's okay.
And then that can also help to reinforce the part about taking it, not getting ahead of yourself in the first 3 by possibly going faster, or so I guess I would say, I would look to say, just take a little bit longer break, maybe get an extra drink of water. If you've been walking in between your 200s, then just walk a little bit more, maybe walk another 200. If you've been jogging in between your 200s, then just jog a little bit longer, take another little drink, stay moving so that, you don't tighten up in between, but it's not so much movement that it's fatiguing you either. And that gives you a chance to your mind to settle down a little bit as well and say, okay, I think I'm ready to tackle that again. And let's see if we can get to number 6. Okay.
Any other questions from the group, or Deb and John, any additional feedback? I'm sure some people are starting to think about heat and humidity and how that's going to impact our workouts.
Yeah.
We'll put Monty in the expert advisory category.
I don't have a question, but just more of some feedback. So we have been, I don't know if everyone's this lucky, but we've been doing our workouts the first 2 weeks, April and I, just in our neighborhood. So I live around a block that's half a mile, and she lives around near a block that's like a quarter mile. So it takes the stress out of having to find a track and wonder if it's open. And we live 2 miles apart from each other, so we just meet at each other's houses. But just something to think about that's a little outside the box. If you can, keep track of that in your head and can map it out kind of close, it's easy if you can just kind of go out your door.
That can be helpful too, because this summer, I know, there are no drinking fountains that are turned on anymore, and so you have to bring it with you, or, if you're running to somebody's house, well, okay, you can set them outside the house and there you are, and you have ready access to the water and a bathroom if really needed. And I know it's a unique summer that way. No restrooms that you normally went to are open, and no park to go and stop and get water when it's hot. It's a different summer. I've got to get used to carrying water. I never carried water because I always tried to plan my routes to drinking fountains.
Or Deb had to drop off water.
Right, or Deb could drop off a bottle of water on the side of the road.
Could you drop a bottle off to me too, Deb?
Pardon?
Can you drop a bottle off for me too? I'll give you
Sure,
a
anytime.
time and a date.
Yeah.
I went out 2 different times thinking like, oh, that's right. I needed to bring water. The drinking fountain's turned off.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Oh,
like,
I know, you don't think about it till you're all hot and then you want.
yeah, right. It's like, oh, I'm looking forward to, oh, yeah.
Well, I ran in Madison this weekend, and you know, I usually, if I'm going on a long run, I thought, well, I better bring some money along. You know, I usually bring my ID and some money just in case, you know, I get stuck somewhere on the other side of the city. But I was happy that I had the money because I could go into Walgreens and buy a Gatorade halfway around, because I was going, boy, if I don't buy this Gatorade, I'm going to be in sorry shape here. So it came in handy. Just to carry a little bit of money and an ID is a good idea as well.
And a little note that says, if found on the ground, please stop my Garmin, right?
Oh.
Please pause. Well, thank you, all of you. I appreciate you coming on with your questions, and hopefully the feedback that you got was valuable. And for those that are watching after the fact, hopefully you got some value out of this as well. I'm so grateful that you guys are all kind of joining in and finding new growth and expanding your comfort zone. So kudos to all of you. I hope you all have a terrific Sunday evening. We will not have a call the next 2 Sundays. And I'll put this out in the email, but Sunday the 5th, July 5th, we will not, just because of the 4th of July weekend, whatever the weekend is going to look like holiday wise. And then the following weekend, we have some conflicts as well. So our goal is to do this again, probably 2 or 3 weeks from now. We'll confirm the date. That way you have a little bit more experience under your belt, and we'll see what additional questions have come up a couple weeks further into the summer.
And
so
I was going to say too that, you know,
We had talked a little bit before.
or about if you have a question, you could email Deb or I, and
As long as we don't get 300 of them, we'll answer back very quickly.
yeah. If we get inundated with them, I'll just send out a note to Leah saying, put a note out there, no more emails. But
yeah, I'll probably create a little spot where people can just click on it and send shoot their email, and then we'll be able to use that to inform some of the additional newsletters in the future weeks. So.
But they're saying, don't make it too easy.
Right.
A little click.
Exactly. All right, everyone.
Well, good luck.
Take care.
Good luck, everyone.
Have a great
Talk to you
Thanks.
soon.
Bye.
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 Bye-bye.